Hi, thanks for joining me. We're going to talk about how to write a bio for your presentation. Have you ever felt like your biography doesn't quite match up to what you want said about you? Especially at your next presentation, you want it to sound like you want it to give some interesting points and some ideas. I'm going to give you 10 that are very actionable, and these are things that I've used. In fact, number 5 for me is one of the greatest tricks I've ever utilized in my career in terms of writing a good bio. So I know that this will be helpful for you, and we're going to just jump right in. Thanks for joining me. So first I want to kind of clarify between the two of what is a bio and what is an introduction. So just so you're aware, we're going to almost use those interchangeably in this video specifically, because most of the time you would have a bio that's just kind of your standard bio that anyone could use at any event. And then you'd have an introduction that would be something that they could use at any kind of event. However, today we're just kind of mold both those words together, and we're just going to say this is a bio introduction, if you will, because we want you to write something that's really specific for the audience to be interested in you as to why they should listen to you. And so I just wanted to make that clear before we dive right in, because there is a little bit of a discrepancy between saying, hey, don't read my bio. I mean, I honestly usually say that. Don't read my bio, read my intro. In this case, it's going to be a little bit of both. So that's how we're going to go. So number 1, I want you to understand your audience first of all. That's where we should start anyway, because you want to make sure to tailor your bio and this introductory piece to the people that are listening. If you were to give them a bio that was just a standard across the board general one, then it might not be specific to the group you're speaking to, and they might not care. For example, if you were to speak at a corporation, that would be a different bio and introduction rather than if you were to speak at an education group. And now it doesn't have to mean that all the things are changed, but there's a specific way in which you place the language. And so, for example, in a corporate setting, it might be more geared towards leadership and teamwork and these types of things with their products and so forth. Whereas with education or in a creative environment, it would be more applicable to what the audience is wanting to hear. So you want the bio to make them lean in to be interested as to why they should listen to you first. Number 2 would be to highlight key achievements in your career and in your life. And this is something that a lot of people forget to do, unfortunately. With a great bio, you want to know what somebody's put forth in terms of the effort, why we should listen to them, what makes them unique and interesting. And so I'd say go for 3 to 5 interesting things that have happened to you in your life. Achievements, awards you've received, things that you've done that other people haven't. It doesn't have to all be serious though. There's a little bit of personality that should come out in that. And so I want you to think about the 3 to 5 that you've got. Maybe just take a minute off this video and just pause it for a second and write down the 3 to 5 great achievements of your life and career so far. Now, what's nice about this is that depending on the audience, you'll want to keep all the key achievements generally as the same for all of your different audiences. And then you would change the other things that we're going to talk about from there. Now, number 3, let's talk about showcasing your personality. You don't want to just sound like the same old speaker that everyone's seen before. You want to interject some of your personality into this bio. And so you want to make it funny if you're a funny person. You want to make it data driven if you're into that number stuff. It's all dependent upon that. I know a storyteller who uses a full story as her bio. It's a very interesting way of doing it. So let your personality shine. I think that's a really important thing to do. You could either add some actionable ideas into that, or one of the things I like to do is add some humor into mine. And so mine actually has the line after I talk about that I have 4 children and I can be caught staring at my wife because she's so beautiful. And that kind of a line just makes everybody chuckle, because they're like, why would he put that in there? She must be really pretty. And so that whole thing makes people laugh and they like me better. If you want to see my bio, we've actually put a link to it in the section below, so in the description, so that you can check this out as far as how I've created a bio for myself. So number 4, I'd recommend that you keep it concise. I do have a couple of variations of a bio that I use for dependent upon the audience. Sometimes they'll want to place my entire biography into the pamphlet or on their conference website. And so then we'll say to them, this is the full bio, and this is the short bio, and this is the intro. And so there's different variations that I'd recommend, but I would recommend you keep it concise, especially if someone's going to use it to introduce you. You don't want them to read the full bio. Oh my gosh, that's happened to me before. And that's why I like to distinguish between saying this is a bio versus this is an introduction. But that's why I've made my short bio something that's just concise, that somebody can read in 30 to 60 seconds, and it's just a couple of accolades, it's a funny line, and then we're off to the races for the speech. I would also consider editing ruthlessly. Yeah, you want to take those long, meandering sentences or stories out of the bio and just really give it some punch, give some bullet points. That's a way smarter way to do it. Get rid of the fluff. Just get right to the point, because you're going to have time on stage. Give the person reading your bio a chance to have some good points to say. Number 5 is the one I was teasing you about. I'm excited to tell you about this because using powerful language is probably my favorite trick of a great bio and introduction. And through the years, I've recommended that people stay away from things that are like simple words, but rather something that's more powerful and it sounds more like they've achieved something. So for example, instead of saying something like, she was responsible for such and such, it would be more like, she led them to this, or she directed this, instead of just was responsible for. It sounds more like an actionable item, if you will. And I remember when I was first asked to give my bio to an event planner, and I didn't know what that meant. And so I wish there would have been a video like this for me. And so I went around and I figured out how to create a bio. In fact, I asked my uncle, who's a great writer, my Uncle David. He sat down and he wrote me a nice bio. That was awesome. And then eventually, I remember when he said to me, he goes, what achievements have you had? You know, and I was just out of high school. I had none. And so we kind of laughed about that. And he just wrote, Jason's a voracious reader and he's a leader, and, you know, stuff like that. That was fun. Eventually I realized, actually, I have gotten some awards. And this is a powerful trick for you while you're sitting there thinking to yourself, someday I want to be in the Hall of Fame of speaking like Jason, and I hope that you will be, and we'll work towards that. But I want you to know that this secret really helped me. It's where powerful language comes into play. And sometimes it might just be semantics. It's certainly not fabrication, but it is a way to get the point across in a very fun way. So for example, I had yet to achieve any awards in speaking or performing. I hadn't done anything on stage yet. And so in reality, I didn't have any way for them to give accolades about what I was about to do. And so I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. I have received the Eagle Scout Award, and I have been on the high honor roll at high school, and I have been the student body president at my school, and I've achieved some things. I once won a art and drawing contest. And so instead of being able to say, award-winning entertainer or Hall of Fame speaker, all I wrote was, the award-winning Jason Hewlett is about to present blah, 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 right? And so all I did was use that powerful language of saying, I am an award-winning person. And eventually now it says Jason Hewlett, Hall of Fame speaker, award-winning entertainer, etc. So now I've received those awards. I guess that's sort of kind of like the law of attraction, if you will. But in reality, it's just the power of using that strong language and sharing the words that you want to have within your bio in order to bring the point across. So now structuring your bio is really interesting as well, because you don't want it to just be long sentences and so forth. And so I try to do more bullet points. You want to have something that captures their attention right away. And what's fun about the bio that I put together was the very first line is, he has performed in every major casino in Las Vegas. And everyone goes, oh, really? So that makes them lean in right away to say, who is this guy? I can't imagine that our speaker has been in every casino in Las Vegas as a performer. Let's see what happens. It's just something that catches their attention and gives some really powerful point in order to share. I would also say, with that in mind, having that kind of intro piece of the bio, it's almost like a mini speech. You'd have a cool intro, catchy line, something in the middle which are kind of more of those accolades, and then something that's a little more of a personal touch at the end. And so more towards the end, it would say something like, you may have read his viral post about seeing his wife at Target, and that's been seen by over 150 million people. And then everybody laughs, and then they say, please welcome Jason Hewlett. Number 7 is incorporating your promise. So what is your promise to the audience that day? I like to say that I promise that they're going to achieve their goals and they're going to learn better about how to make great promises. And so we give them that within the bio so that they can hear it from someone else, and then I can come up on stage and drive the point home for the keynote. So number 8 would be practicing and refining. So practice reading your bio out loud. Practice with the person who's going to introduce you. A lot of the times they'll miss the 150 million line, or they'll miss how to say my last name, which is Hewlett, and they'll say it wrong. And so I'll just talk them through it and listen to them read it. And it's fun to hear how someone reads so that I can rewrite the bio to make it easier next time. Number 9 is I would suggest you seek feedback. Always seek feedback as a speaker and in other ways as well, but especially for your bio. You want it to be readable, legible, interesting, and get to the point quickly. And then number 10, continuous improvement. There have been times when I've heard someone read my bio and I go, I forgot to update it. So I have to go back and say, hey, I've written a book since the last one and it's my fault I didn't put it in there. So continually look back at your bio and make sure that it's up to date, because whether you use it every time you go on stage or it's just something that sits on your website, you need to have some way for people to realize, oh, this is a current bio rather than just the oldest thing that they've been able to read. And so which of these 10 points has been helpful for you as you create your bio? I hope that you'll put it in the comments below. If you'll like and subscribe to this page as well, I appreciate you being here. I'm excited to see what your new bio is going to look like. Thanks for joining me.